In the depths of human knowledge, at the intersection of mysticism and rigorous science, lies a paradox capable of overturning our understanding of reality. There exists a knowledge so powerful and transformative that its appearance in the world inevitably met with resistance. In 1933, during the Great Depression, when millions of people desperately sought answers and paths to survival, a book capable of granting those answers was withdrawn from circulation. Editions were seized, and its distribution was effectively banned. We speak of the monumental work of Charles F. Haanel, The Master Key System, a work that contained neither political subversion nor obscenity, but offered something far more radical, a key to controlling one's own consciousness and consequently one's destiny. Why do ideas promising personal power meet such resistance? Perhaps because true power, realized and applied by every individual, always threatens the status quo, be it economic, social, or ideological. This is not merely a book about achieving success, it is a textbook on metaphysical engineering, offering instructions for reprogramming oneself, which many believe is the most dangerous knowledge in the hands of an unprepared or, conversely, a too well-prepared person. Charles Francis Haanel, whose name became synonymous with a profound understanding of human potential, was born in St. Louis, Missouri in 1866. His life, seemingly, was a model of the American dream, embodied through relentless labor and a shrewd mind. He was not a reclusive philosopher or an academic theorist. Haanel was, first and foremost, a practitioner, an entrepreneur who built his business empire from the ground up. His path began modestly, but through perseverance and, as many believe, the application of the very principles he later described, he achieved outstanding success. He founded several companies, the most famous of which was the Continental Commercial Company, engaged in wholesale trade. Under his leadership, this company became one of the largest of its kind, spanning vast markets and demonstrating impressive growth even under conditions of fierce competition. Haanel was a man who believed in the power of a systematic approach and constant self-improvement. He did not simply read books, he studied the principles underlying success and prosperity, analyzed them, tested them in practice, and only then formulated his conclusions. His clients were not only ordinary people, but also influential industrialists and businessmen seeking an advantage in the rapidly changing world of the early 20th century. It was for them, as well as for a broad audience thirsting not just for motivation but for clear step-by-step instructions, that Haanel first published The Master Key System in 1912. This was not a one-time book release, but a series of 24 weekly lessons mailed to subscribers. Such a format allowed readers to absorb the material gradually, apply it in practice, and observe the results before moving to the next stage. It was a pioneering approach to education, prefiguring modern online courses and coaching programs. The success of the Master Key System was staggering. Thousands of people subscribed to the course, and soon Haanel became one of the most influential thinkers of his time in the field of personal development. His ideas had a profound impact on such giants of thought and action as Napoleon Hill, who, inspired by Haanel, spent decades studying the secrets of success of America's wealthiest and most influential people, including Andrew Carnegie, Thomas Edison, and Henry Ford. Moreover, Haanel's philosophy became the foundation for many subsequent movements and teachings, reaching down to modern authors and media personalities such as Earl Nightingale, one of the pioneers of audio motivation, and even Oprah Winfrey, who openly acknowledged the influence of the Master Key System on her life and career. Haanel did not just teach how to earn money, he taught how to think, how to use internal resources to create a desired reality. And it is to this that the second lesson of his system is dedicated, a deep dive into the structure of human consciousness. The second lesson of the Master Key System reveals to us one of the most fundamental truths underlying Haanel's entire teaching: the existence and simultaneous functioning of two minds in every person. This is not a metaphor, but a description of a concrete, tangible reality that determines every aspect of our lives, from the smallest daily decisions to the greatest achievements. Haanel asserts that two minds operate within us: the conscious or objective mind, and the subconscious or subjective mind. These two minds, though interconnected, possess entirely different functions, characteristics, and ways of interacting with the world. Understanding their nature and mechanisms of operation is the first step toward mastering the master key to your own destiny. Let us begin with the conscious mind, which Haanel calls the objective mind. This mind is our primary tool for interacting with the external world. Its organ is the brain, a most complex biological machine capable of processing information at incredible speeds. The objective mind operates through our five senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. It is through them that we perceive surrounding reality, form representations of it, analyze facts, and make decisions. This mind is endowed with will, the ability to choose, to make decisions, and to direct one's actions. It also possesses the ability to discern, evaluate, compare, and think logically. It is the objective mind that allows us to learn, memorize information, solve mathematical problems, plan the future, and reflect upon the past. Haanel metaphorically calls the objective mind the guardian of the gate. This is a very precise definition. Imagine an ancient city surrounded by walls, with a single gate through which all entry and exit occur. A guard at this gate carefully inspects everyone entering, deciding if they are worthy to pass inside. In the same way, our objective mind acts as a filter that evaluates all information coming from the outside, as well as all thoughts and impulses arising within us. It decides what is true, what is false, what is useful, and what is harmful. It analyzes, criticizes, doubts, and compares with previous experience and knowledge. Without this guardian, we would be completely defenseless against the chaotic flow of information and internal impulses. It is the objective mind that allows us to adapt to changing conditions, learn from mistakes, and build our lives on the basis of logic and rationality. However, despite all its importance, the objective mind has its limitations. It works only when we are awake and actively thinking. Its resources are finite, and it can be overwhelmed by information or exhausted by decision-making. Moreover, its ability to discern while being its strength can also become its weakness, as it is often tied to preformed beliefs, prejudices, and limited perspectives. Consciousness, in essence, is only the tip of the iceberg of our mental world, the visible part of much deeper and more powerful processes. And here we come to the subconscious mind, or the subjective mind, which, according to Haanel, is the true engine of our reality. If the objective mind is the guardian of the gate, then the subconscious mind is the city itself, its depths, its heartbeat, its bottomless source of life and energy. Its organ, as Haanel points out, is the solar plexus, a nerve center located in the abdominal cavity, which in ancient traditions was often associated with life force, intuition, and emotional reactions. Unlike the brain, which is a localized organ of consciousness, the solar plexus, in Haanel's view, serves as the point of connection with a much vaster and more powerful source, the universal mind, or as it is also called, cosmic consciousness. The key feature of the subconscious mind is that it never sleeps. It is active 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even when we are immersed in deep sleep. It is the subconscious that manages all the autonomous functions of our body: breathing, heartbeat, digestion, cell regeneration. It regulates our temperature, immune system, and hormonal balance. The subconscious is our internal architect, builder, and healer, working tirelessly to maintain our life and well-being. But the most important thing that distinguishes the subconscious mind from the objective mind is its inability to argue. Haanel emphasizes this with particular force. The subconscious does not distinguish between good and evil, truth and falsehood. What you command it, that will become reality. This statement is the cornerstone of the entire master key system. The subconscious does not possess the function of critical analysis. It does not doubt, does not argue, and does not conduct logical checks. It simply accepts any instructions, any thoughts, any beliefs passed to it as absolute truth. For the subconscious, there is no difference between reality and imagination, between fact and fantasy. If you constantly think of poverty, the subconscious accepts this as a command and begins to organize your life in such a way that poverty becomes your reality. If you imagine success, health, and happiness, it begins to work on the manifestation of these states. This explains why many people, despite all their conscious efforts and desires, continue to face the same problems. Consciously, they may want wealth, but subconsciously, due to deeply rooted beliefs or fears, they may be programmed for poverty. And since the subconscious possesses incomparably greater power and a connection to the universal mind, its program will always dominate conscious desires. Thus, the objective mind acts as a gardener, who plants seeds of thought in the soil of the subconscious, and the subconscious, like fertile soil, without discerning what kind of seeds they are, weeds or noble plants, simply grows them. This understanding is not the exclusive prerogative of Haanel or the early 20th century. Ancient sages and philosophers over thousands of years intuitively or empirically reached similar conclusions. In the Taoist tradition, for example, we find the concepts of Hu and Shu, two aspects of consciousness, where Hu can be correlated with the more superficial, active, objective mind, and Shu with the deep, intuitive, subconscious mind. Hu is what we see, hear, and think. Shu is what lies beneath the surface, the invisible source of wisdom and power. In the Tantric teachings of India, we encounter the archetypes of Shiva and Shakti. Shiva represents pure consciousness, motionless, passive, potential. Shakti is the dynamic energy, the power that embodies, creates, and manifests. In the context of our discussion, Shiva can be an analogy for the objective mind, which observes and perceives, while Shakti is the subconscious, which, having received an impulse from Shiva, begins to act and shape reality. Without Shakti, Shiva remains inactive. Without Shiva, Shakti acts chaotically. Only their harmonious interaction leads to creation. Carl Gustav Jung, the great Swiss psychiatrist whose work had a colossal influence on 20th century psychology, also developed a model of the psyche that resonates remarkably with Haanel's ideas. Jung spoke of the ego and the self. The ego is the center of consciousness, our personality, our I, which interacts with the external world. It is very similar to Haanel's objective mind, but Jung asserted that the ego is only a small part of our psyche. Beneath it lies a much more vast and deep region, which he called the self, the center of the entire psyche, including the conscious and the unconscious. The self is the archetype of wholeness, the inner guide that directs the development of the personality. It encompasses both the personal unconscious, containing repressed memories and complexes, and the collective unconscious, a storehouse of universal archetypes and patterns. Jung's self, with its connection to the collective unconscious, has a striking similarity to Haanel's subconscious mind, connected to the universal mind. Even in the mystical tradition of Kabbalah, the ancient Jewish system of esoteric knowledge, we can find parallels. Two of the 10 Sephiroth, or divine emanations, Malkuth and Tiphereth, can be interpreted through the prism of the two minds. Malkuth, or kingdom, represents the material world, manifestation, our physical reality, and our conscious perception of that reality. Tiphereth, or beauty, is the central sephira, symbolizing harmony, balance, and, most importantly, the link between the higher and lower worlds. Tiphereth can be seen as a bridge, a central point through which higher energies and designs, the universal mind, descend into manifestation. Malkuth. This correlates with the subconscious as the link between individual consciousness and the universal principle. Modern science, nearly a century after the publication of the Master Key system, is beginning to empirically confirm these ancient and intuitive insights. In 2011, Nobel laureate in economics Daniel Kahneman, in his monumental book Thinking Fast and Slow, presented to the world the concept of two systems of thinking, System 1 and System 2. System 2 is slow, conscious, logical thinking that requires effort. This is our objective mind, the guardian of the gate, which analyzes and makes decisions. System 1 is fast, intuitive, automatic thinking that works without effort or conscious control. It is responsible for our instantaneous reactions, instincts, habits, and beliefs. Kahneman's System 1 is a precise rediscovery of Haanel's subconscious mind, working continuously, without criticism, and accepting everything as given. Kahneman showed that most of our decisions and actions are actually governed by System 1, and only then does System 2, if it engages at all, attempt to rationalize or correct these automatic reactions. Further neuropsychological research has only deepened this understanding. Michael Gazzaniga, a prominent neuropsychologist from the University of California, conducted pioneering experiments with split-brain patients whose left and right hemispheres had been surgically separated. In 1981, Gazzaniga demonstrated that each hemisphere could make independent decisions, with the left hemisphere responsible for speech and logic, often inventing explanations for actions initiated by the right hemisphere, without any conscious understanding of their true causes. This convincingly showed that our conscious I is not always the initiator of our actions, but rather an interpreter. And perhaps one of the most shocking discoveries, pointing directly to the primacy of the subconscious, was the experiments of Benjamin Libet in 1983. Libet measured the brain activity of subjects, asking them to perform a simple movement, such as moving a finger, at the moment they consciously felt the desire to do so. The results were staggering. The brain made the decision to move 350 milliseconds before consciousness was aware of that decision. This means that our conscious I is not the true initiator of the action. It only after the fact becomes aware of a decision that has already been made on an unconscious level. These scientific data, obtained decades later, only emphasize Haanel's insight and confirm his assertion that the subconscious is the true engine of our reality. Understanding this dual structure of consciousness is not just academic knowledge. It is a practical tool that Haanel suggests using to transform one's life. If the subconscious does not distinguish between truth and falsehood, but simply accepts commands, then our task is to learn to give it the right commands, those that lead to desired results. But how to do this if the objective mind, the guardian of the gate, is constantly analyzing, criticizing, and doubting? How to bypass its skepticism and address the limitless power of the subconscious directly? Haanel's second lesson not only reveals the structure of consciousness but also offers a specific practice, which is a continuation and deepening of the exercise from the first lesson. If in the first lesson the primary task was achieving physical immobility, now you must move to a much more difficult task, achieving complete mental silence. You again take the same posture of immobility, retire to a quiet place, and relax the body. But now your goal is to restrain any thoughts. Allow them to come, but do not cling to them. Do not develop them. Let go of each thought like a balloon, allowing it to fly away without entering into a dialogue with it. This is much harder than physical immobility, because the mind, accustomed to constant activity, will resist. It will throw ideas, memories, plans, and fears at you. Your task is to be an observer, not involved in this flow. This practice requires immense patience and persistence. You will not achieve mental silence on the first attempt, perhaps not even on the 10th. But Haanel insists, practice until you master it. This is not just an exercise in concentration. It is a training of the will, a discipline of the mind that will allow you gradually to loosen the grip of the objective mind, its constant analysis and criticism, and create a channel for direct communication with the subconscious. It is through this mental silence, through this state of peace, that we can begin to reprogram the subconscious, planting in it new positive beliefs and desires, which it without reasoning will accept as truth and begin to manifest in our reality. This is the path to true self-possession and mastery over one's own life. It is through this mental silence, through this state of peace, that we can begin to reprogram the subconscious, planting in it new positive beliefs and desires, which it, without reasoning, will accept as truth and begin to manifest in our reality. This is the path to true self-possession and mastery over one's own life. Today, more than a century later, modern science, armed with advanced technologies, is beginning to confirm these ancient and seemingly mystical insights of Haanel. What was once considered metaphysical speculation is now gaining a firm empirical basis in the laboratories of neurobiologists, geneticists, and psychologists. We stand on the threshold of understanding that consciousness and the subconscious are not just abstract concepts, but powerful, tangible forces capable of literally rebuilding our biology and shaping our reality. One of the most revolutionary discoveries of recent decades has been neuroplasticity, the brain's striking ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. Until recently, the belief dominated the scientific community that the adult brain was a fixed structure that, after a certain age, lost the ability for significant change. However, works like those described in Norman Doidge's book The Brain That Changes Itself, published in 2007, completely overturned this notion. Doidge showed that our thoughts, experiences, learning, and even simple attention literally rebuild the physical structure of our brain. Every new thought, every repeated action carves and strengthens neural pathways, much as water carves a channel in soft soil. This means that our mental activity does not just occur in the brain. It actively shapes the brain. A vivid example of neuroplasticity is the famous study by Eleanor Maguire and her colleagues, conducted in the year 2000 involving London taxi drivers. To obtain a license, London taxi drivers must pass a most rigorous exam known as the Knowledge, which requires memorizing 25,000 streets, countless landmarks, and thousands of routes within a 6-mile radius of Charing Cross. This learning process takes an average of 4 years. Scientists used magnetic resonance imaging techniques to compare the brains of taxi drivers with a control group of people of similar age and education but not engaged in such activity. The results were startling. London taxi drivers had a significantly increased volume in the posterior part of the hippocampus, the region of the brain critical for spatial navigation and memory formation. Moreover, the longer a taxi driver worked in the profession, the larger his hippocampus was. This experiment became direct and irrefutable proof that intense mental activity aimed at mastering complex information can physically change the structure of the brain. The brains of the taxi drivers literally rebuilt themselves to better handle the task at hand. This confirms Haanel's idea that conscious training of the mind, its discipline and focus, has far-reaching consequences, not only at the level of the psyche but also at the physiological level. Another breakthrough confirming the deep connection between thought, emotion, and biology is the science of epigenetics. Epigenetics studies how the environment and lifestyle can turn genes on or off without changing the basic DNA sequence. Simply put, our genes are not an unchangeable sentence, but rather a set of switches that are activated or deactivated under the influence of our experiences, nutrition, stress, and, most importantly, our thoughts and beliefs. Bruce Lipton, a cell biologist and author of the book The Biology of Belief, released in 2007, became one of the pioneers in this field, convincingly proving that cells respond to our perception of the world, not just to genetic instructions. He asserts that it is the environment, both external and internal, consisting of our thoughts and emotions, that controls gene expression. A stunning study conducted by Dario Dias and Carrie Ressler in 2014 demonstrated the inheritance of acquired fears through epigenetic mechanisms. Scientists trained male mice to fear the smell of cherry blossoms acetophenone by associating it with a mild electric shock. The mice quickly developed a conditioned fear reflex to this smell. But the most amazing thing happened next. This fear, as well as the increased size of the olfactory bulb responsible for processing smells, was passed down to 2 subsequent generations of offspring who had never been exposed to the smell of cherry blossoms or the shock. Analysis showed epigenetic changes in the sperm of the males associated with odor receptors. This experiment showed that traumatic experience and developed reactions can be inherited, demonstrating a deep connection between experiences, biology, and even future generations. This emphasizes the power of mental imprints which, being planted in the subconscious, can have long-term, even transgenerational consequences. The science of psychoneuroimmunology, PNI-WEV, deepens our understanding of this connection by studying the interaction between psychological processes, the nervous system, and the immune system. Candace Pert, a neurobiologist and author of the book Molecules of Emotion, released in 1997, made a breakthrough by showing that not only neurotransmitters but also neuropeptides, short chains of amino acids, are biochemical correlates of emotions. These molecules of emotion and their receptors are found not only in the brain but throughout the body, including immune cells. This means that our emotions are not abstract feelings. They represent chemical signals that directly affect every cell, literally linking mind and body into a single, inseparable system. When we experience joy, anger, or fear, these emotions are translated into chemical messages that circulate throughout the body, affecting hormonal balance, digestion, and, of course, the immune system. Research by Janice Glasser and Ronald Keikolt Glasser on medical students has become classic in the field of PNI. They showed how chronic stress caused by exams directly suppresses the immune system. In their work, they measured various indicators of immune function, such as T-cell activity or antibody production, in medical students during periods of high stress, during exams, and periods of relative calm during vacations. The results consistently demonstrated a decrease in immune function during exams, wound healing slowed, antibody production after vaccination decreased, and susceptibility to infections increased. This is direct proof that our mental states, such as stress, which is essentially a product of our thoughts and perceptions, manifest as physiological vulnerability. The subconscious, accepting instructions from the consciousness about the presence of a threat, exam stress, activates corresponding physiological reactions, weakening the body's protective functions. And of course, no discussion of the power of the mind over the body is complete without mentioning the asterisk placebo effect, asterisk. A placebo is an inactive substance or a sham procedure that nevertheless causes a real improvement in a patient's condition due to their belief in the treatment. In 1955, American anesthesiologist Henry K. Beecher published a pioneering study titled The Powerful Placebo, in which he analyzed 15 clinical trials involving more than 1,000 patients suffering from various conditions such as pain, cough, and anxiety. His conclusions shocked the medical world. The placebo effect was observed in 30 to 60% of patients, and in some cases, the placebo proved to be as effective as active drug preparations. This is not just deception. It is a demonstration that a person's expectation and belief can trigger powerful physiological reactions, including self-healing. When the subconscious accepts a medicine, even if it is a sugar pill, as a true remedy, it activates the body's internal mechanisms to achieve the desired effect. This is one of the most convincing proofs that the subconscious mind, having received an instruction, embodies it in physical reality, not distinguishing between truth and falsehood, but only accepting the command. Thus, modern scientific discoveries, from neuroplasticity, which shows how thoughts shape the brain, to epigenetics, demonstrating how beliefs affect genes, and psychoneuroimmunology, revealing how emotions govern our health, and finally the placebo effect, confirming the power of belief, all converge on one profound truth: our thoughts, beliefs, and mental states are not merely abstract phenomena. They represent powerful forces that mold our brain, regulate our genes, govern our immune system, and dictate our physical well-being. They provide modern, empirical confirmation of Haanel's assertion that the subconscious, when given a command, will manifest it as reality. This idea of the duality of the mind and its power, though it seems revolutionary in the context of modern science, is actually deeply rooted in ancient traditions and philosophical systems that existed thousands of years before Charles Haanel. Sages and mystics of various cultures intuitively understood or empirically grasped this truth, expressing it through their own metaphors and concepts. One of the oldest sources speaking of the duality and power of the mind are the Hermetic texts attributed to the legendary Hermes Trismegistus a figure synthesizing the Greek god Hermes and the Egyptian Thoth. In the treatise Poimandres, part of the Corpus Hermeticum, a dialogue is described between Hermes and the divine mind, or nous. Here, the concept is laid out that man possesses both a mortal body and an immortal mind/soul part. The divine mind, or nous, is the source of all that exists and implants itself in humans. The human mind, therefore, is a reflection of this universal mind. This resonates with Haanel's teaching on the subconscious as the link to the universal mind, capable of drawing from its limitless source. Hermeticism teaches that by knowing one's own mind, one knows the divine and gains power over one's destiny, which is a direct parallel to the idea of self-mastery through understanding and governing the subconscious. In Eastern traditions, this idea also occupies a central place. The Buddha in the Dhammapada, one of the most famous texts of the Pali Canon, begins his teaching with a profound statement that sounds like an echo of Haanel's principles. Verse 1 states, "Mind precedes all things, mind is their Lord, mind is their creator. If a man speaks or acts with an impure mind, suffering follows him as the wheel follows the hoof of the ox. If a man speaks or acts with a pure mind, happiness follows him like a shadow that never leaves." This is a direct and unambiguous statement about the supremacy of the mind in shaping our reality. The Buddha asserts that it is the mind, both conscious and subconscious, that is the architect of our experience, whether it be suffering or happiness. This aligns perfectly with Haanel's assertion: what you commanded, that will become reality. Deeper still into the philosophy of the mind dives the ancient Indian text Yoga Vasista representing a dialogue between the sage Vasista and Prince Rama. This text asserts that Mana's mind is the creator of the world. The world we perceive is nothing other than a projection of our own mind. Our perception does not just interpret reality, it creates it. If the mind is calm and pure, the world seems beautiful. If it is agitated and full of anxiety, the world appears chaotic and full of suffering. This concept emphasizes the subjective nature of reality and the power of the mind in its formation, fully reflecting Haanel's idea that the subconscious manifests reality based on mental commands. In the Jewish mystical tradition of Kabbalah, one can also find parallels with the concept of the duality of consciousness and its connection to universal principles. Kabbalah describes 10 Sephiroth, or divine emanations, which form the tree of life and represent various aspects of the divine, as well as levels of creation and human consciousness. Ein Sof, is the infinite, unknowable God, the source of all. On the tree of life, the Sephira Malkuth kingdom represents the physical world, manifested reality, that which we perceive with our 5 senses. The Sephira Tiphereth beauty or harmony is at the center of the tree and symbolizes harmony, compassion, and also the central consciousness that links the higher and lower worlds. Tiphereth can be seen as an analog of the objective mind, which strives for balance and is a channel for the influence of higher principles on Malkuth, our manifested world. The idea is that physical reality, Malkuth, is a reflection of deeper spiritual principles and mental states, and that through conscious alignment with the higher Sephiroths through Tiphereth, we can influence our manifested reality. Stoicism, the ancient Greek and Roman philosophy also offered a practical approach to managing the mind that resonates with Haanel's teaching. Philosophers such as Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, taught that we are disturbed not by things themselves but by our opinions about them. Epictetus said, "We are disturbed not by things, but by our opinions about things." And Marcus Aurelius in his Meditations wrote, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." The Stoics urged focusing on what is under our control, our judgments, attitudes, and actions, and accepting what is not under our control, external events. Although the Stoics did not use the terms conscious and subconscious, their emphasis on the power of conscious choice and interpretation of events is directly related to the role of the objective mind as the guardian of the gate. They taught that by changing our thoughts and perceptions, we can change our reaction to the world and consequently our reality, which is a fundamental principle of Haanel. Finally, in Zen Buddhism, which is believed to have been brought to China by Bodhidharma in the 5th or 6th century, the direct realization of one's own mind takes center stage. The core idea of Zen is direct pointing to the human mind, insight into one's own nature, and achieving Buddhahood. Zen asserts that our own mind is the Buddha nature, and that enlightenment is achieved not through external rituals or dogmas, but through deep understanding and mastery of one's inner world. The practice of Zazen, seated meditation in Zen, is aimed at achieving mental silence, letting go of thoughts, and direct experience of one's true I. This exercise in mental silence is in essence an ancient analog of Haanel's second lesson, where one is required to restrain any thoughts, be an observer, and not get involved in the flow of consciousness. Thus, from Hermetic texts to Buddhist wisdom, from Indian philosophy to Stoic ethics and Zen practice, all these ancient traditions, separated by thousands of years and thousands of kilometers, converge on one point: the human mind possesses an incredible power capable of shaping our reality. These parallels show that Charles Haanel did not invent a new truth, but rather rediscovered and systematized eternal principles that were known to sages throughout human history. These profound truths, confirmed by both ancient wisdom and modern science, found their vivid embodiment in the lives and activities of specific people whose stories serve as living proof of the power of the mind. Their successes, often seeming incredible, were achieved through the conscious application of the principles that Charles Haanel so clearly laid out in his Master Key system. One such iconic figure is Earl Nightingale. He was not just a radio host and author, he was a pioneer in the field of motivation and self-development, who in the mid-20th century helped millions of people realize their potential. Nightingale, deeply inspired by the works of Napoleon Hill and Haanel himself, recorded an audio program in 1956 titled The Strangest Secret. In this recording, he defined success not as an accident or luck, but as the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And the strangest secret, according to him, was that we become what we think about. Nightingale explained that our mind is like fertile soil. If we plant seeds of success, prosperity, and happiness in it, that is exactly what will grow. If we sow seeds of fear, doubt, and poverty, we will get a corresponding harvest. The Strangest Secret became the first spoken word audio recording in history to sell over 1 million copies, earning Nightingale a gold record. This unprecedented success not only made Earl Nightingale a legend, but also laid the foundation for an entire industry of self-development audio courses. His work became a direct echo of Haanel's principles, popularizing the idea of the creative power of the mind and the subconscious's ability to manifest what it has been commissioned to do. Nightingale's story is not just a success story. It is a story about how one simple but profound idea, realized and transmitted to the world, is capable of changing countless lives. An even larger scale confirmation of Haanel's principles was the life and work of Napoleon Hill. His path to creating the bestseller Think and Grow Rich began with a fateful meeting with one of the richest men of his time, industrialist and philanthropist Andrew Carnegie. Young journalist Napoleon Hill, then still little known, received a unique offer from Carnegie. Carnegie, convinced of the existence of universal principles of success, assigned Hill a grandiose task: to spend 20 years of his life, without pay, interviewing hundreds of the most successful people in America to identify and systematize this philosophy. Carnegie promised only one thing: to provide access to his vast circle of influential acquaintances. Napoleon Hill accepted this challenge. For 2 decades, he met and studied the lives of such giants of thought and industry as Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, Alexander Graham Bell, President Theodore Roosevelt, and many others. He analyzed their thought processes, habits, approaches to problem solving, and their ability to manifest their ideas into reality. The culmination of this monumental work was the book Think and Grow Rich, published in 1937. In it, Hill openly acknowledges the influence of Charles Haanel on his thinking, especially in the part concerning the power of autosuggestion and the subconscious's ability to bring dominant thoughts to life. Hill's key principles, definiteness of purpose, autosuggestion, specialized knowledge, imagination, organized planning, and persistence, are all practical applications of Haanel's teaching on how the objective mind can direct the subconscious to achieve desired results. Napoleon Hill's story is not only the story of his personal success, but also a grandiose empirical study confirming that the consistent application of focused thought and unwavering faith, often through the subconscious, leads to tangible achievements. Let us move to a more modern era, to a figure whose influence on the world of technology and design is undeniable. Steve Jobs. Although Jobs may not have studied the master key system directly, his life illustrates how seemingly random or unrelated experiences can be synthesized by the subconscious and manifest as brilliant innovations. In 2005, speaking to graduates of Stanford University, Jobs uttered the famous phrase, "You can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future." He cited as an example his experience at Reed College in 1972 when he, as a dropout student, attended a calligraphy class. This class, taught by former monk Robert Palladino, was dedicated to the beauty and precision of fonts, serifs, kerning, and other subtleties of typography. At the time, it seemed a completely impractical and meaningless pursuit. However, 10 years later, when Jobs and his team were developing the first Macintosh computer, he insisted that it have several fonts and proportional spacing between characters, a feature that was revolutionary for personal computers at that time. It was this aesthetic decision, directly inspired by his calligraphy lessons, that became the hallmark of Apple's design and user experience. This was not the result of conscious planning. It was the result of Jobs' subconscious having stored and processed information, that prove to be critically important for future innovations. This demonstrates how our mind, like a bottomless storehouse, collects and processes information, and then, at the right moment, connects the dots in a non-linear, intuitive way, guided by an underlying vision. Finally, one of the most influential modern voices openly acknowledging the power of the master key system is Oprah Winfrey a media mogul, television host, and philanthropist. Oprah has repeatedly stated the profound influence of Charles Haanel's book on her life and phenomenal success. She not only recommended it to millions of her viewers on her show, but also spoke openly about how this book changed her understanding of the power of thought and the ability to consciously direct it to create her reality. Oprah testified that the Master Key System helped her realize that her thoughts and beliefs are powerful tools for shaping destiny, and that she herself is the architect of her life. Her incredible career, built on a foundation of self-belief, intuition, and purposeful creation, serves as a living, modern example of the practical effectiveness of Haanel's teachings. These stories, from motivation pioneer Earl Nightingale, who popularized Haanel's ideas, to Napoleon Hill, who for 20 years systematized the principles of success, and to modern icons such as Steve Jobs, whose subconscious connected seemingly unrelated dots, and Oprah Winfrey, who openly acknowledges the book's influence on her success, are all powerful testimonies that the principles set forth in the Master Key System are not just abstract theories. They are practical tools for mastering one's own mind and, consequently, one's own life. They show that when we understand and apply the laws governing our objective and subconscious minds, we can literally reprogram our reality and achieve what once seemed impossible. This invisible thread linking the intuitive insights of great innovators of the past with the successes of modern leaders stretches across decades, finding its confirmation in the most diverse fields of human activity. The principle of the duality of the mind, which Charles Haanel so scrupulously described in 1912, has today ceased to be merely a subject of esoteric debate and has become the foundation for advanced psychological and neurobiological concepts. We see how Haanel's ideas about the conscious guardian of the gate and the limitless subconscious find their reflection in the works of Carl Gustav Jung, who introduced the concept of individuation, the process of integrating the conscious ego with the unconscious layers of the psyche. Jung understood that a person cannot become whole until they establish a conscious dialogue with their self, the deep inner center which Haanel called the subjective mind. In this system of coordinates, individuation is nothing other than mastering the master key, allowing consciousness and the subconscious to work in synergy, not in conflict. Modern psychology, in the person of Abraham Maslow, complemented this picture with the concept of peak experiences. Maslow described moments of supreme human functioning as states in which the boundary between the I and the world disappears, and actions are performed with incredible precision and ease. This is exactly the state reached by a student of Haanel when their subconscious, trained by correct conscious settings, begins to act autonomously. In these moments, the objective mind ceases to interfere with the process with its doubts and analysis, allowing the universal mind to flow through the person unhindered. This is also confirmed by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi's flow theory, where full immersion in an activity requires a perfect balance between the complexity of the task and the skills of the individual. In the state of flow, the objective guardian trusts management to subconscious mechanisms, leading to the phenomenal productivity that Haanel wrote about as a natural result of applying his system. The most striking scientific confirmation of Haanel's ideas came in 2011 with the publication of Daniel Kahneman's work, Thinking, Fast and Slow. Kahneman, a Nobel laureate, described two systems of thinking that correspond with mathematical precision to Haanel's two minds. System 2 is slow, analytical, conscious thinking that requires effort and will. This is the very objective mind that Haanel endowed with the function of discernment and choice. System 1 is fast, automatic, intuitive, and emotional thinking, working constantly and outside our direct control. This is the subjective mind, or subconscious. Kahneman proved that System 1 forms our beliefs and impulses, upon which the decisions of System 2 are then built. Haanel anticipated this discovery by 100 years, asserting that it is the subconscious that is the builder of our body and circumstances, while consciousness only sets the blueprint. In the world of sports, the greatest athletes, such as Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, intuitively or consciously used these principles. Bryant often spoke of his Mamba mentality, which consisted of endless repetitions and mental rehearsals. This is the classic Haanel method, conscious repetition of an action or thought until it settles in the subconscious and becomes an automatic response. In moments of decisive shots, these athletes did not think. They allowed their trained subconscious to execute the embedded program. Michael Jordan described the state of the zone, where time slows down and the hoop seems huge. This is the triumph of the subjective mind, freed from the shackles of conscious fear and doubt. In the sphere of global business, we see the same patterns. Jeff Bezos, the creator of Amazon, is known for his ability to stick to a long-term vision despite short-term criticism. This is a manifestation of the will of the objective mind, which Haanel called a necessary condition for managing subconscious forces. Elon Musk uses the first principles method, breaking down complex problems into their fundamental truths. This is the highest form of objective mind work in filtering out false settings. Warren Buffett has for decades demonstrated emotional detachment from market noise, which is a direct consequence of the mental discipline preached by Haanel. They do not just manage companies, they manage their mental states, understanding that external success is but a reflection of internal order. The science of the brain also does not stand still. Norman Doidge in 2007, in his work on neuroplasticity, proved that our thoughts are capable of physically changing the structure of the brain. Every new thought, every concentration of attention carves new neural pathways. This is material proof of Haanel's assertion that the mind builds the body. Bruce Lipton in the field of epigenetics went even further, demonstrating how beliefs and perception, functions of our subconscious, affect gene expression. We are not hostages of our heredity. We are the architects of our biology through the management of our consciousness. Alain Aspect's 1982 experiments in the field of quantum entanglement confirm Haanel's words about the unity of the universal mind. If two particles remain connected at any distance, then our mind cannot be isolated from the general information field of the universe. Ancient traditions knew of this long before the appearance of modern laboratories. In Taoism, the concepts of Hu and Shu describe the interaction of chaotic potential and ordering force. In Tantric teachings, Shiva represents pure consciousness, the motionless witness, while Shakti is the dynamic energy creating worlds. This is a perfect metaphor for the objective and subconscious minds. Kabbalistic concepts of Malkuth and Tiphereth speak of the manifested kingdom and the central beauty linking the higher and the lower. The Yoga Vasista, one of the oldest Indian texts, directly states, "The world is as you see it, and all that exists is but a projection of the mind." Haanel translated these ancient truths into the language of Western rationalism, making them accessible to the person of the industrial era. However, mastering the master key system is fraught with serious dangers, of which everyone embarking on this path must be warned. The most common trap is naive positivism, or magical thinking. Many mistakenly believe that it is enough just to visualize the desired while lying on the couch, and the universe will bring it on a silver platter. Haanel was categorically against such an approach. He emphasized that the subconscious is the soil, and consciousness is the sower. But to gather a harvest, labor is necessary. Magical thinking ignores the laws of physical reality and cause and effect relationships, turning a deep system into a superficial fantasy. Another danger is the denial of reality, or so-called spiritual bypassing. In trying to impose positive affirmations on the subconscious, people often suppress real emotions and problems, burying them deeper in the shadow. This gives rise to toxic spirituality, where a person is afraid to acknowledge pain or anger, believing they will spoil their vibrations. But the subconscious cannot be deceived by words. It reacts to deep, often unconscious feelings. If you repeat, "I am rich," while feeling terror before debts, the subconscious will accept as truth exactly that terror, because it is more emotionally charged. There is also the risk of losing connection with objective reality. Excessive preoccupation with the inner world without proper grounding can lead to disorientation. Haanel insisted that the objective mind must remain the guardian of the gate. If this guardian falls asleep, the subconscious becomes vulnerable to any external suggestions, fears, and mass psychoses. Without critical thinking, the system turns into a tool of self-deception. Finally, the greatest danger lies in using these powers for selfish or destructive purposes. Haanel warned that the law of creation is inevitable. What you send into the world through your subconscious will return to you in an amplified form. Those who try to use the master key to manipulate others or accumulate wealth at the expense of others' suffering inevitably face the destruction of their own lives, as their subconscious records the image of separation and hostility as their personal reality. In order to avoid these traps and truly master the second lesson of the master key system, it is necessary to move to a rigorous and consistent practice. The second lesson requires much more from you than just physical immobility. Now you must learn to manage the flow of your thoughts. This exercise is considered one of the most difficult in the system, but it is precisely what lays the foundation for all subsequent achievements. The first technique is the practice of mental silence. You must take the same posture you mastered in the first lesson. Sit straight, relaxed, without the slightest movement for 20 to 30 minutes. But now your task is to stop the flow of thoughts. As soon as a thought appears in your consciousness, you must gently but firmly let it go. Do not fight with thoughts. Do not analyze them. Simply do not let them develop. Imagine that your consciousness is a clear sky, and thoughts are passing clouds that leave no trace. This practice should be performed daily for the first 7 days. You will notice that physical immobility was only preparation for this battle for mental control. The effect in the form of extraordinary mental clarity and reduced anxiety levels will begin to manifest as early as the 4th or 5th day. The second technique, which should be implemented from the 8th day, is called the guardian of the gate. Throughout the day, you must consciously filter the information entering your mind. This exercise takes up all your waking time, but does not require special conditions. You must suppress any negative conversations, gossip, fear-inducing news, and criticism toward yourself or others. Every time you encounter a negative stimulus, you must mentally say, "I do not accept this into my subconscious." You become a vigilant censor. By the end of the second week, you will feel that your internal energy has stopped leaking away, and your emotional state has become much more stable and independent of external circumstances. The third technique is mental rehearsal or visualization of a single object. Starting from the 15th day, after the period of silence, choose one simple object, such as a rose or a geometric figure. Close your eyes and try to see this object in all its details, its color, texture, smell, the way light falls on it. Hold this image in your consciousness for 10 minutes, not allowing it to fade or change. This exercise trains the ability of the objective mind to give clear, unambiguous commands to the subconscious. When you learn to hold a single image without effort, you will realize that your subconscious has begun to accept your visualizations as real instructions. A tangible result in the form of improved concentration and memory will manifest by the 22nd day. The fourth technique is imprinting before sleep. In the last 5 minutes before you fall asleep, when your consciousness naturally transitions into the alpha state, you must formulate one clear, positive setting for the next day, or for the solution of a specific task. This should be a short phrase in the present tense. For example, "I act with absolute confidence and clarity." Repeat it until you fall asleep. At this moment, the guardian of the gate is relaxed, and the command penetrates directly into the subjective mind, which works all night. Starting from the 23rd day, you will wake up with already prepared solutions and an internal drive that does not require external stimulation. The fifth technique is keeping a journal of mental imprints. Every evening, dedicate 10 minutes to writing down 3 moments during the day when you successfully applied the will of the objective mind, or when your subconscious gave you an intuitive solution. This records your progress and proves to your objective mind that the system is working. Writing translates abstract thoughts into physical reality, strengthening the link between the two minds. The accumulation effect will become obvious by the end of the 30-day cycle, when you find that your perception of the world has radically changed. The sixth technique is switching focus. During the day, as soon as you catch yourself thinking of lack, fear, or failure, you must immediately switch your attention to the opposite state. This is not just positive thinking, it is a training of the will. If you feel tired, consciously focus on the idea of life force flowing through you. If you feel irritation, focus on the idea of inner peace. Do this quickly and decisively. This exercise teaches you that you are not your thoughts. You are the one who chooses them. After a week of such practice, you will notice that negative automatic thoughts have begun to appear much less frequently. The seventh technique is the practice of gratitude as frequency tuning. In the morning, immediately after waking, find 5 minutes to sincerely give thanks for what you already have and for the opportunities that will open today. Gratitude is the most powerful state for the subjective mind, as it implies that the desired has already been received. This creates a magnetic field that attracts corresponding circumstances. Perform this daily, and by the 30th day, you will find that your life is filled with synchronicity. Events that seem like random coincidences but are actually the direct response of the subconscious to your internal state. Concluding this lesson, we must realize the fundamental truth that Haanel carried through his entire system. Your outer world is an exact, mathematically precise reflection of your inner state. There is no external force that would punish or reward you. There is only the law of cause and effect operating through your own mind. The objective mind chooses the direction, and the subconscious mind provides the energy and resources to embody that choice. You are the captain of your ship, but beneath the deck works a powerful engine that knows no fatigue and asks no questions. If the captain sleeps or gives contradictory orders, the ship will be tossed on the waves of chaos. But if the captain is awake and knows the course, there is no storm that this ship could not overcome. The second lesson is a call to responsibility. Now that you know your subconscious accepts any thought of yours as truth and begins immediately to build your reality from it, you can no longer afford the luxury of random, negative, or destructive thoughts. This knowledge is both the greatest gift and the heaviest burden. Mastering mental silence and controlling the guardian of the gate are not just exercises, they are an act of self-liberation. You are learning to step out from under the power of automatic reactions imposed by upbringing, environment, and past experience. You are beginning to write your own script on the clean slate of the universal mind. In the next lesson, we will go even deeper. We will learn about the solar plexus, that very physical organ which is the distribution switchboard of subconscious energy. We will understand how to connect to the source of infinite power, which Haanel called the universal mind, and how to make this power flow through us for the creation of health, abundance, and harmony. But this path is open only to those who have passed through the forge of the second lesson and learned to subdue the chaos of their own mind. Imagine an architect standing before a vast, clean space. In his hands is a pencil. This is his conscious will. In his imagination, a project is born. This is his thought. But behind his back stand thousands of builders, ready to begin work immediately as soon as the first sketch touches the paper. These builders do not ask whether the building will be beautiful or whether it will collapse under its own weight. They simply build what is drawn. Your life is a building being constructed right now, in this very second, by your every thought, your every feeling, your every silent decision. The master key is already in your hands, and the door to the sanctuary of your own mind is open. Now you know that as within, so without. You are the architect, you are the blueprint, and you are the building itself.